Wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight, and I think he will be more active than Canelo's previous opponent. And he has different mentality. He has champion mentality.
Someone like Canelo fighting against Crawford, you need more than power. You need more than speed. You need ring IQ. You need literally everything, because this is the two best pound for pound fighters.
It's a real risk there for him for taking the fight. I mean, of course, he's like any other champion. He wants to make you guys celebrate what y'all want to make us pay for, which is smart.
El Mundo del Boxeo este revolucionado después de que Turquía aláusica anunciar oficialmente la próxima pelea entre Canelo Álvarez y Terence Crawford. Y en su tweet declaró: entregaremos la pelea del siglo con la Riyadh season el 12 de septiembre en el Allegiant Stadium de Las Vegas. La leyenda Canelo define su título de the ring contra el gran Terence Crawford. La plataforma de televisión se anuncia pronto con una gran sorpresa. Mi hermano Dana White promocionará es prime evento de boxeo de TKO conmigo. Sea algo increíble con es prime KO. El mundo del boxeo está electrificado, esperando ansiosamente lo que permite un enfrentamiento inolvidable. Durante la celebración posterior la pelea de Canelo Álvarez, después de derrota a William Skull el 3 de mayo de 2025 en Riyadh, Arabia Saudita, Turquía aláusica questo el prime KO entre Canelo y Crawford. Es momento sorpresa ocurrió inmediatamente después de que Álvarez recuperara su estatus como campeón indiscutido de peso supermediano. La pelea ha provocado una amplia gama de reacciones de leyendas del boxeo, analistas y fanáticos por igual. Dmitry Bivol, quien previamente le propinó a Canelo Álvarez una rara derrota, cree que el deseo y el nivel de actividad de Terence Crawford podrían plantear desafíos significativos para Álvarez. Bivol enfatiza que la preparación mental y la capacidad de adaptación de Crawford son factores cruciales que podrían ayudarlo a navegar por el poder y la prisión en las 168 libras.
Crawford wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight. I think he will be more active than Canelo's previous opponent, and he has different mentality. He has champion mentality. I think fight will be much more interesting.
What do you make of the weight in that fight, the weight difference?
I think Crawford will not let Canelo just walking on the ring when he wants, because we could see this fight. Canelo did everything. When he want to rest, he could rest easy, in this fight. Yeah, of course, when he wants to work, that guy didn't give him work. He just rest. And I think with Crawford, it will be harder to rest.
Who do you think wins?
I don't know. It's a very interesting fight, but I don't know.
El campeón mundial americano se ha pronunciado sobre ambos peleadores, destacando la importancia de la inteligencia boxística en ese enfrentamiento. Khan afirma que, si bien Canelo puede tener la ventaja de poder, el coeficiente intelectual superior de Crawford en el ring, su movimiento y su velocidad podrían ser los factors decisivos.
It could have gone either way, because I had probably Skull winning by 2 rounds. I mean, I like Canelo. I think he's a great fighter, but the thing is, I think that he was looking he was picking the shots better and landing the better, cleaner shots. Canelo was marked up a little bit, but look, it could have gone either way. Anyway, regardless how the fight went, it was a great performance by both fighters, but it's made a bigger fight happen now with Canelo and Crawford. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Is there more question marks being asked in that fight now? Because a lot of people say, look, Canelo's a bigger guy. He should technically be the bigger guy, have too much weight for Crawford, but from that performance, do you feel like it's a lot tight and there's a lot more question marks in that fight?
Yeah, I mean, you need more than size, you need more than weight, you need more than everything. I mean, I think what you need now is you just need box IQ, the right box IQ, you know what I mean? You need to be smart. And someone like Canelo fighting against Crawford, you need more than power, you need more than speed, you need ring IQ, you need literally everything, because this is the two best pound for pound fighters who are going to be fighting each other, even though Crawford is going to be giving away a lot of weight. But I feel that it could go either.
La leyenda del boxeo Roy Jones Jr. señala que el resultado depende del enfoque de Canelo en la pelea. Si Alvarez subo ring subestimando a Crawford, creyendo que puede superarlo fácilmente, podría estar preparándose para la derrota. Jones enfatiza la necesidad de que Canelo respete las habilidades de Crawford y se prepare en consecuencia.
In that fight?
You know, it's a hard one to call, and I'm going to tell you why it's a hard one to call. It's a hard one to call because it'll all be predicated upon how Canelo approaches the fight. If Canelo approaches the fight like he's the man and he can box and outbox Terence Crawford, he'll get beat. If he comes out and shows that he really wants to go out and prove whether he's still the best, he might win. So it all depends on which Canelo come to the dance.
And just two more. Jaron Ennis, a lot of people say there's similarities between you and him. What do you think of this fight coming up with Stanionis?
We're going to find out a lot about Jaron Ennis against Stanionis because Stanionis is a very good prospect, up-and-coming.
El miembro del Salón de la Fama Juan Manuel Márquez expresa escepticismo sobre la pelea, advirtiendo que suba de peso podría ser perjudicial para Crawford. Cree que las divisions de peso se establecen para garantizar una competencia justa, y que Crawford podría estar excediendo al desafiar Alvarez en peso supermediano.
I don't like the fight because Terence Crawford is a good fighter, but in the sport of boxing it has divisions. You know what I mean? You know?
Right, weight classes.
You know what?
Right.
Yeah, weight classes
for a reason.
Weight classes for and Terence Crawford is a good fighter in super lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight, but I think more. I remember when Terence Crawford fought with Madrimov.
Yes.
He looks slow. He looks with no power, and two more divisions. I think it's a top fight for Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He has a great defense. He has a good combination punches, but I think the weight class is no good for
William Skull, quien recientemente se enfrentó a Canelo Alvarez, reconoce la importancia del próximo combate entre Alvarez y Crawford. Si bien no proporcionó un análisis en profundidad, Skull reconoce lo mucho que hay en juego y la emoción que rodea el enfrentamiento.
No, el boxeo es una cajita de sorpresa, no se sabe. Hay que esperar la pelea ahí y después ver la decisión, pero todavía no tengo nada así claro.
Well, I really have nothing much to say. Boxing is like a Pandora's box, so it's about to wait and see.
Terence Crawford considera la pelea como la oportunidad más importante de su carrera. Reconoce a Canelo Alvarez como la cara del boxeo y está ansioso por mostrar sus habilidades en un escenario tan grandioso. La confianza y la disposición de Crawford para aprovechar este momento reflejan su ambición de consolidar su legado en el deporte.
Well, Canelo's the face of boxing. He's the best fighter for Terence Crawford out there. He's the biggest fight for Terence Crawford out there. So that's why Terence Crawford want to take the opportunity to share a ring with another great.
How do you beat him?
You'll see. Come 12.
Everyone's talking about the weight differences. What's your kind of response to that, Terence?
That's why we fight the fight. So September 12th, we all going to see if the weight going to make a difference or not.
Do you want to fight him twice and then retire? Is that kind of the ideal thing for you?
One fight at a time. One fight at a time.
Canelo Alvarez espera que Crawford aboard la pelea con una mentalidad orientada ofrece una actuación emocionante. Reflexionando sobre su pelea con William Skull, Alvarez expresa el deseo de que los oponentes tengan como objetivo involucrarse en lugar de simplemente sobrevivir a los asaltos. Cree que los fanáticos merecen un combate emocionante y espera que Crawford es la altura de la ocasión.
That's a mediocre mind because they come just to survive, to go to the 12th round. That's a mediocre mind. You need to put a good fight there and put great show. You know what I mean?
Do you think Crawford will employ the same tactics to try and box?
I hope not. I hope not because the people deserve a good fight.
What do you make of the Crawford fight next?
Huh?
How excited are you for the Crawford fight?
I'm excited. I'm gonna enjoy this win and then we think
El boxeo británico de peso welter con vi la pelea como un enfrentamiento parejo, describiéndola como un asterisk 50-50 star. La evaluación depende sobre la naturaleza competitiva del combate. YAQ ambos peleadores aportan fortalezas únicas al ring.
Going up, I believe he can put a beating on anybody 154.
160.
But not 68.
Nah, Benavidez is.
Canelo. Yeah.
Oh, Canelo. I think he's a smart fighter. He doesn't rely on his power. Crawford ain't a fighter who just relies on his power. And then Canelo, you know, when he's fought Belenga, then fought Ryder, Munguia. It's even. I think it'll be a 50-50 fight if Crawford.
Algunos observadores han expresado su preocupación por la recién actuación de Canelo Álvarez contra William Skull, señalando una disminución percibida en su agilidad y dominio general. Críticos cuestionan si Álvarez puede mantener su estatus de elite contra un oponente formidable como Crawford, especialmente dada la baja producción de su última pelea.
After really the Triple G fight is when we've seen the slippage on Canelo. And over the last 2 years, it's been immediately apparent. It's been apparent straight away over the last 2 years. Canelo's feet have always been slow. He's always been very slow-footed. So when people are saying, oh, it looks like his legs are slowing down, yeah, they are. They've never been quick, but now they're even slower, which is a problem. And Jim Lampley on commentary on Friday night show was saying that one of Canelo's biggest strengths is his legs. It generates power and it helps with his punch resistance. Well, those legs are sliding and that power is diminishing. Canelo hasn't had a stoppage win now since he knocked out Caleb Plant in 2021. And yeah, he's dropped some of these guys, but he's not been able to step on the gas and finish them. He's not been able to go through the gears. His gas tank, you can put that into question as well. And Canelo Álvarez, come July, be 35 years old. So he is, look, Canelo's been around so long and his real prime was in his mid-20s. So we associate Canelo, mid-20s to early 30s. So we kind of associate Canelo with that. I don't want to say ever young, but you know, he is still young, just not in boxing senses. But he's been around so long, 20 years a pro, and he's been at world levels for probably 15 of those. You're going to expect some slippage. And I think in this fight, an opponent, it was very negative, yes, but an opponent who Canelo Álvarez of 5 years ago handled, and he did handle him, but you know what I mean, he probably would have put some damage on William Skull. He didn't do anything. He didn't look good. And William Skull played his part in that, it has to be said. As I said, you fight that negative, there's only so much you can really do, you know, even if you're Canelo Álvarez, even if you are Alexander.
El entrenador Joel Díaz argumenta que la diferencia de tamaño entre los peleadores podría ser un factor decisivo. Cree que la capacidad de Álvarez para absorber golpes de oponentes más grandes le da una ventaja, sugiriendo que Crawford podría tener dificultades para tener un impacto significativo en la división de peso superior.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Álvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. A lot. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Álvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat.
El ex-campeón y promotor Óscar de la Hoya expresa escepticismo sobre la pelea, calificándola de saqueo de dinero. Enfatiza el precedente histórico de que un pelea más pequeño y habilidoso rara vez derrota a un oponente más grande y igualmente habilidoso, sembrando dudas sobre las posibilidades de Crawford en peso supermediano.
William Skull. William who? Óscar. Óscar, para encontrar dudas. Oscar, being back in New York over here.
No, let's just say Canelo Crawford, in the history of boxing, and this is the facts.
Let's get it.
If you see Thursdays, Tap Thursdays, I speak the facts. All right, I'll even do it for you. A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game, unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead man walking anyway. But a good little man never beats a good big man, so it's a tough test for Crawford, but I'm not counting him out. The bottom line, this is the truth again, it's a money grab. That's it. Yeah. But Crawford doesn't rely on his power, he relies on his IQ. Crawford, what he did to Spence was magic, was incredible, was amazing. And so, look, one thing about Canelo is that we all know that he walks in the ring as if there's wet cement, right? His footwork is a little too heavy. Crawford is such a smart fighter where he can he's like Bruce Lee, literally. And he's in his peak, he's in his prime, and so I think that if that fight ever happens, which I don't think it will, if that fight ever happens, I have to go with Crawford.
Okay, you have it. Oscar de la Hoya talk.
El contendiente de peso supermediano David Benavidez cree que las habilidades excepcionales y la ética de trabajo de Terence Crawford podrían llevar una sorprendente victoria sobre Canelo Alvarez. The ring, propiedad de Turquía Laushik, informó que Canelo y Crawford habían acordado la fecha de septiembre y que essentialmente estaba cerrado.
Owned by Turkey, reported that Canelo and Crawford have agreed to the September date and that it's essentially on. What is your I know this has been rumored and talked about, but now it seems like a done deal. What's your reaction to this?
It's a good fight. You know, it's a good fight for both of them. Good fight for, I think it's more important for Crawford than anybody, you know, but I think if anybody could beat Canelo, I think Crawford could.
Yeah, I know you said, like, he could be the guy. What kind of a chance do you ultimately give him?
I think you give him like a 7 out of a 10.
Oh, wow, that high. I thought you were going to say like 25.
Well, I mean, no,
just
Crawford is good. Crawford is good, and of course. I think he's been known that he's going to fight Canelo for a long time, and you know, Crawford he likes to pick up the weight, so I'm sure he's been working on the weights for a long time. So, you know, Crawford, when he has with a person that has a big IQ like that, if you do enough weights, you know, and you stay working for a long time, you know, you have a puncher's chance.
El campeón unificado de peso pesado Alexander Usyk enfatiza que en el boxeo la habilidad a menudo supera al tamaño. Sugiere que la destreza técnica y la agudeza de Crawford podrían dar la ventaja pesa de la ventaja de tamaño natural de Alvarez.
Potential fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
How do you see that fight? Who
I
do you
like Terence. It's
wow,
my friend, but it's crazy man. Listen, I say Terence win. Yes.
What? Terence win over Canelo.
Yes, Terence win. But listen, Terence, it's different man. Terence work in two stойка.
Two sides.
Two sides.
Right.
And
And
right,
switch hitter. Yes.
He's a switch hitter.
Yes.
Right and left. But it's very smart man. It's very smart. But feel distance and plays.
Adjustments.
Spacing,
Exactly.
boxing.
You don't think the weight difference will be a factor too much?
Mario, you're asking him?
That's why. That's why I'm asking. Exactly.
But, Canelo big, Canelo too. It's a good boxer, but I say
El ex-campeón de peso welter Sean Porter, quien se ha enfrentado a Crawford, plantea preocupación sobre la capacidad de Crawford para resistir el poder de Alvarez, al tiempo que reconoce la dureza de Crawford. Porter cuestiona si puede soportar la física de un oponente naturalmente más grande y fuerte como Canelo.
They say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out.
El promotor Eddie Hearn describe el enfrentamiento como una pelea rara, destacando la significativa disparidad de peso entre los dos peleadores. Advert Q, Incluso si Crawford Ryan bien, la diferencia de tamaño podría ser un obstáculo sustancial, una victoria para Alvarez podría no tener el mismo peso debido al desajuste en tamaños naturales.
How is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to be.
El campeón de peso supermediano que le plan elogia la adaptabilidad, el estilo de boxeo único de Crawford. Cree si bien la diferencia de peso es un factor, la inteligencia el enfoque estratégico de Crawford podrían hacer que la pelea sea más competitiva de lo que muchos esperan.
Terence is not a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? He's special. And, you know, Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter. Still on the pound-for-pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top. And it's exciting. You know, Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox, southpaw. He can fight at mid-range, close range, outside. And he can fight going both ways. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's a big question mark on the end of it, though. So that's why, you know, I'm sure all of us are excited for that bell to ring and, you know, be able to find.
El renombrado entrenador y comentarista Teddy Atlas elige con confianza a Terence Crawford para ganar, citando sus habilidades excepcionales, su fortaleza mental y su adaptabilidad. Atlas cree que la negativa de Crawford acepta la derrota y su capacidad para ajustarse en el ring lo convierten en un oponente formidable, independientemente de la categoría de peso.
Come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." You know, but who's he beaten? He unified the what was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior welter. Then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter. He unified like 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight.
Pero hasta Acquiesce report. Numbers vimos en un siguiente video.